Today I'm not introducing a movie but a person. Tomek Bagiński is one of the most talented directors of animated movies of the young generation. He is also among probably the most skilled ones and certainly amongst the most titled ones. The movie Rain he directed as a student was so remarkable that thanks to it he was hired in Platic Image Studio. The studio was established in 1997 and it is mostly involved with graphic design, 3D animation and special effects used in advertising industry, in film and in other forms of art. Since 1999, Bagiński had been working on his debut movie titled The Cathedral. The script was based on a story written by a Polish fantasy and science fiction writer Jacek Dukaj. It took Bagiński over 3 years to finish this 7-minute-long movie. He finished it in 2002. It is easy to see the influence of many international artists in the movie, including a Polish painter Zdzisław Beksiński. If you want to learn something more about this outstanding painter, you can watch a fiction movie called The Last Family or a documentary movie The Beksińskis, a sound and picture album. We can also notice that the cathedral was influenced by Rembrandt's art and Gaudi's architecture. The movie is a story of a man who enters a mysterious cathedral which suddenly becomes alive. The movie was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Short Animated Movie and it was awarded with the main prize at the conference SIGGRAPH in San Antonio. The meaning of the acronym SIGGRAPH is Special Interest Group on Computer Graphics and Interactive Techniques. The prize is definitely the one of the most important ones a creator like Tomasz Bagiński can get. Can you imagine that his next movie Fallen Art, referring to the Balkan Wars, was also awarded with this prize? That is how Bagiński became the only one creator in the history to get this prize twice. In 2009, Bagiński directed a very interesting story about the early years of cinema, the kinematograph. By the way, do you know that the first person to create the machine which was used to record and project movies was a Polish man who invented it a year before Lumiere brothers? Kazimierz Pruszyński, who was also responsible for the invention, studied in Liège in Belgium. There, while being a student, he was already known as a talented inventor. He created a pleograph in 1894. Do you know how a device constructed in France by the Lumiere brothers was called? A few years later, in 1907, Pruszyński invented a machine which made simultaneous emission of sound and image possible. Yes, that early. With the use of this device and his own method of synchronization of sound and image, Pruszyński could make first sound movies as early as in the very beginning of the 20th century. I'm telling you this because when I watch the kinematograph, I always do think that the movie is about Kazimierz Pruszyński and his story. The last movie, directed by Bagiński, I would like to introduce to you is Animated History of Poland, which is also called The History of Poland in 8 minutes. The animation was made to promote Poland during 2010 Shanghai Expo, and it shows the history of Poland from the Slavic times up to the time when Poland joined the European Union. It was the last movie I wanted to mention today, but of course not the last movie created by Tomek Bagiński. It is, however, not the end of the story of this amazing man. You have to know a few more things about him. He is also the author of an outstanding advertisement of 2014 Winter Olympics in Sochi, made for BBC television. You can see this advertisement on YouTube. It's absolutely brilliant. If you see a bit of Game of Thrones in it, you will be right, as the voice in the advertisement is of Charles Dance. But that's not all. The best fun fact now. Bagiński and the company Platic Image, of which he is a creative director, prepared cinematics for the game The Witcher. Yes, this is the one of the most popular games around the world and Polish #1 best-selling export goods. In 2017, the profits earned from the sales of only the third part of The Witcher Wild Hunt already exceeded 1 billion Polish zloty. I am sure you have also heard about the Netflix series The Witcher, released in 2019. In 4 weeks, the series was watched in 76 million houses, and it made The Witcher the biggest Netflix hit in 2019. Was a viral song Toss a Coin to Your Witcher also popular in your countries? In Poland, everyone went crazy about it. Just remember, the game and the series both wouldn't have existed but for the very story about Geralt of Rivia itself, written by a Polish writer Andrzej Sapkowski. The first story from the saga was released in 1986 in the Polish magazine Fantastica. I believe you have learned all the necessary information about Bagiński by now. I recommend watching all of his movies and all of the pieces he has made. Have a nice screening and see you next time!